Scott Hilton, Scott Talks here in Ocala, Florida. Bridgewater Park. It's a retirement center. Good look at this nice bench they got. Got my bike here, riding around. They got a little nice area. There's some more buildings over there. Bus, take people around. Nice fountain to look at. And out in the sun, getting too much sun. And just talking to you guys about Ocala, Florida. You know, the cost of living here is a lot better than a lot of places. If you're wanting to be in the center of the state, you know, you can do better here than you could anywhere near Orlando. Orlando's expensive, and they know they've got you. You know, if you're in a city, an edge city to Orlando, it doesn't matter. We checked, I think it was D.R. Horton Homes. We found the model up here in Ocala. We found the model near Orlando, and it was a boatload more. I was like, what's the deal? And they said, well, you're near Disney. I said, well, I'm 45 minutes to Disney. I mean, technically, we don't usually stay. We usually stay at Disney Springs at the Hilton and hang out for a couple of days. Do Disney that way. Went to see the Star Wars land. That was our big goal last time because we're not walking all day and night at the parks. And then we go have dinner at like George or the Boathouse at Disney Springs. They're great restaurants. Or one of the other restaurants in Disney Springs. They have a bunch of them. And, you know, a lot of you people probably stayed at some of those places right at Disney Springs, taking the boat over to Disney Springs, watched a show right there where the Joffrey, I think it's Joffrey's Coffee and Starbucks is right in that area, where they have a stage and show. And, you know, the young talent that they get, they'll put on a 45-minute show as opposed to maybe somebody at Epcot. They might only put on a 30-minute show. But they usually have about 3 shows at Epcot in that big area near America. You can sit. That's a great place because you've been walking around all day. You want to sit and watch a show. And if you see the last show, you're going to see not fireworks anymore. I think it's all drones display right at the end. But they have some shows now at Disney Springs they're working on. So you can catch that. You can catch the live performance. You can see a late show, or you can catch an early show and head back to your room. You know, we've done that before. You just get the apps open and see when the 3 show times are at Epcot and when you're going to sit your butt down and when you can turn around and get out of there. If you wait till the end, you got a crowd. You got to fight to get out. But if you do it early, you just sit down and watch the show. You've eaten maybe in China or someplace nice, and you head back. And if you want to go to Disney Springs, or you just want to wait and do Disney Springs the next day and hang out, you know, not spend the money at the park, you can do that. You walk around Disney Springs, that's all day, baby. You may not even get it all done. You got to schedule 2 days for Disney Springs and just do 1 or 2 parks. You don't have to spend all that money. And, you know, get reservations. Crystal Palace, if you're at the Magic Kingdom, they have characters that bounce around. At least they used to. And now they got Universal, Epic Universe. Go see the Harry Potter world, or Nintendo, or How to Train Your Dragon, or whatever, Universal Monsters, whatever section you want to go in. So you got big choices now. Or you can sneak in the original Universal because everybody's going to Epic Universe and it might be not as crowded, right? Eat at Margaritaville, you know, something like that. But living in Central Florida, you avoid the big storms. You get to avoid all that. And the odds are they're not going to be that big of storms here. The flooding is less here in Ocala. You can Google, YouTube, you know, videos of Ocala, that's areas that have gotten a little bit of flooding, and just stay away from those and check to see what areas are more flood prone. But if you're in a community where they built the houses slightly up on the hills, they've got golf courses that slope down, that run water off, they've got dry retention ponds, kind of like this pond, but it's dry when it hasn't rained. And what it does, it runs the water off, keeps it away from your house. It runs it off. And that's what they're for all over Florida. You've got these dry retention areas. A lot of real estate, just big holes in the ground. And then they have drains that go from one dry retention pond to another, under streets, so that they all spread it out. And it's a very neat idea. So it really lowers the amount of flooding that you get in a lot of areas. You know, there are certain areas that have had it. So just check into that. A couple shops we saw on YouTube that got flooded on the main street. because they were kind of flat to the ground. The street flooded, the shop flooded. I was like, wow. A couple neighborhoods that are low to the ground that have always been kind of a problem. Neighbors were complaining to the press that, no one ever does anything to help fix it. And then, you hear stories that they let trash pile up and go, oh, a little beep, beep. There you go. But whatever that is, or it could just be bad planning. They don't want to fix stuff and spend money. Who knows? Every city has that. You get to share all that. But Ocala's nice. It's quieter, especially when you're here at the, you live like a retired person. I'm over it on top of the world. It's nice. It's like any neighborhood, really. It's got some amenities, a pool, a little baby fitness room in the one we're at. They have several golf courses. They have several little fitness areas. We have Circle Square Commons, which is kind of a small version of the Village's places where they have all those shops. They haven't got much at Circle Square Commons. They got a coffee place, an ice cream place, some investment places, continuous learning areas. They have a big theater where people come with events. Different acts come and perform, and you can go see them. They got a big fitness center if you want to join it. They're called The Ranch. That's right outside, so you can go join that, spend some money on that, or you can go to all the fitness areas. And on top of the world, they have something called a World Pass that exceeds. You can go all over the place to the different fitness areas and stuff. It's about $1,000, I think, but $1,000 per person per year. Yeah. So we didn't do that. No, I'm good. I ride my bike, but and some of the neighborhoods on top of the world have higher HOAs, some have lower HOAs. And, they have villa areas where they take care of all the property for you, which is a higher HOA. And they have places where, you mow your own grass or hire someone to mow the grass and do it, and they take care of it. Or you take care of it, and you pay someone to take care of it. So it kind of balances out, I guess. But it's nice here. It's the winds kick down from hurricanes, so they're not as bad when they get to Central Florida as you've seen videos where Disney got pounded and got hit pretty hard once or twice, but not often. Usually it's died down enough to be a big bad force 1 or 2 hurricane if it hits at a force 4 or 5. You know what I'm saying? It kicks down, so it gives you a break. But as we all saw with Hugo when I was living in Charlotte, that wiped some things down. Charlotte's lost power. Everyone just stayed home, couldn't go to work. We had it for a while. We only lost power for like 3 days. I had friends that lost it for like a week. They'd come over, and they had power trucks from out of town and all that. A little hint: when the power truck from out of town is in your neighborhood fixing things, don't complain. If you complain, they'll leave. They'll leave your butt. You won't get help for a week. A friend of mine had that happen. Dang. So, whatever you do, just be nice to them. Give them plenty of room to work. The next door neighbor's lady to him went to complain that they need to move their truck because it was blocking her driveway. And the guy was like, "You want us to move?" And she goes, "Yes, I would." And my friend's just watching in horror. And they went, "Okay, we'll move." And they got in that truck and left. And he cussed her out. I was like, oh my gosh. And he didn't get power for the week. And I was like, he was over in our place. We had a couple of his things from his freezer freezing in our freezer. And it was just, it was bad for a little while. And then it went up to Asheville in the mountains, which is far from the coast. It hit that poor little Asheville. Asheville got hit by some storms and flooding. So, you think Asheville and up in the mountains is nice. And a lot of these Florida snowbirds go there all the time. But you can get hit anywhere, really. Tornadoes are everywhere. Hurricanes can come in pretty close, a lot closer than you would think, and they can cause some problems. So no area is immune, but Ocala's nice. I mean, if you check, Ocala's been pretty good for storms passing up, just getting bad winds and mild damage and stuff like that. And a lot of people like to promote the fact you don't need flood insurance here. And I'm like, well, maybe not. You talk to people, your neighbors, you talk to the Don't talk to the salespeople, they'll all tell you that. But you talk to your neighbors or future neighbors, knock on the door, man, say hello. Say, hey, how is it like here? Do you need flood insurance? You ever had a problem? You people that have lived here for years, especially if you're looking around at, you be sure to look at some houses that are, you know, a couple years old. They've got everything in it. I mean, we had to add ceiling fans and a backsplash to the house we got. It was a semi-new house. It had been built a while back, but people had fallen through with the bind, so it took a while to close on us. Even we had looked at it, and then we had to wait for our house to sell to get this house, and it takes forever to sell. You know, in a buyer's market, but it's not a seller's market. Everyone loved our house, but, and we got down to that person that really wanted to buy it. You know, it was supposed to be an as is, and there were one or two things they wanted fixed. Baby, we fixed it. We made sure that sale went through. Just a little place on the door, a little place here and there. I said, sure, we'll get it fixed. You know, an electrical outlet outside that had the little flap on it. Flip those up and clean them out. You know, some frog or something had gotten in there and just messed it all up. It was nasty. Had to replace the whole outlet. I was like, oh. And we never used it. It had the flap on it. We never used it. It was outside. So they came in and did an inspection. So they found that. You know, that outlet don't work. And I was like, how come? And I flipped it up and went, ew. That's probably why. And so they put some tape or one of those plastic studs underneath. A lot of times they have a hole at the bottom to let cords go through. And close those off. Keep those little frogs and lizards out of there. Or spiders or whatever get in there. You want to keep them out. Sell that place. Make it pretty. You know. So, yeah, Central Florida, it's not Orlando. It's not the big city. You can go to Gainesville and get a little more big city. But it still has your Olive Gardens. It still has pizza delivery. It still has, you know, places you can stay at, hotels and McDonald's, and all the basic things are here that you would go to. A lot of Publix nearby. Within 3 or 4 miles, I think there's 3 Publix near us. And Walmart Marketplace and Aldi and all that, just real close to on top of the world. Or Stone Creek, if you're looking there, or Chalicia, I think it's called. Across the street from Stone Creek, it's made for families. It's not a 55 plus, but Stone Creek and on top of the world are 55 plus. And there are a ton of other places. More traditional place, Oak Run is great. You know, it's a great place to stay. If all the houses have been there for a little while, but they've got a great golf course, great reputation. You know, it was the place to come in Ocala back in the day. So you may want to check that out. Check 55 plus videos out if you're a 55 pluser. So definitely look at Ocala, Florida. If you're looking at the villages and it seemed a little noisy, a little crowded, a little party, nice place to visit, but I wouldn't want to live there type thing, or there are too many circles going to those houses, like my wife's uncle lived there in the first area, Brown Creek, Brown something, whatever it's called. But she's like, I've had to go through 20 roundabouts to get to his damn house. It drove me crazy. And I was like, yeah. And the village just technically extends for like 83 miles. I mean, that's why people have gas golf carts and super-sized battery golf carts, because they have to. They want to go from one place to another. They can go everywhere, but it goes, you know, that's a while. You want to be semi-close to your mailbox, because everyone has these group mailboxes now. And whether you can walk to it or golf cart quickly to it. You go to the store on the golf cart. Can you get ice cream home? Do you have a cooler? Get a cooler for that golf cart. And can you make it? Can you do ice cream? Are you close enough to a Publix or some place that you can go get ice cream with the golf cart and a cooler? A lot of these places are golf cart friendly, and right here on top of the world we're golf cart friendly. So you can golf cart down to these stores and pick up something and throw the ice cream in the cooler and golf cart back. Just put a lot of, you know, those ice blocks in there. Just some igloo ice blocks and put them in that baby. Keep it cold, top and bottom, you know. But you can do it. And they advertise, you know, you don't have to go anywhere from the villages. Well, technically you do. I mean, if you were having surgery, you're going somewhere. You're not going to the doctor around the corner. You're going to a hospital. So, but yeah, you want to be, if you're in the villages, you want to be able to drive to Walmart. You want to drive to Target. You want to go to McDonald's or someplace to get a decent meal. And you want it to be relatively close by. If you find a house that's way out here and you got to drive 20 minutes to get to anything. You may not want that. But if you can golf cart to the club, if that makes you happy, in a couple stores, that makes you happy, great. That's great. And it's up to you. But some are, you get a great deal that way. But on top of the world's not that far from places. It's golf cart friendly. It's not big like the Villages. It's quiet. And it's not party. And they've got a lot of benefits. And Stone Creek is very nice. It's just up the road from that on top of the world. And that Chalicia place has got great reviews for families. A lot of people going in there. They got families. So, and there'll be other areas. There are other areas, to check on, to buy something. If you get something to use, you should have ceiling fans in it already. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to add stuff. Get a couple-year-old house or something that's, is a mild fixer-upper and you can handle that. Great. And you're in Ocala, just make sure if you need a job, you can find a job that pays something. You got to make sure of that if you're going to be still working. Or if you just need a job that pays anything and throw some Social Security on top of it. That's a possibility too. But because the jobs are not as plentiful as you are in a giant city like Tampa or Charlotte. The key to finding a job is being near a giant city, not little country bumpkin towns where, you might have one or two big employers that employ people for life and that's it. And everyone works there, which is great if it's decent. If it's not, you got to decide where you're going to live, what you're going to do. There's not a major airport in Ocala, even though you look, there's an airport. It's more for shipping things, and it's not for people things. You have to go up to Gainesville, which is a little more money, or you can go to just as far to get to Tampa or Orlando in either direction. And if you're going on a cruise, you can go down to Tampa, or you can go across the state and to Port Carnival, or you could go down. There's a train that starts in Orlando that you can take. They're going to be putting it all the way to Tampa eventually, looks like. Brightline, look into that. And you can take the Brightline for several hours down to Miami to catch your cruise the next day. Do it get there a day early. If you're doing a cruise, spend the night, get up early and zip down there and be real early. Make sure if you have to loiter around for a while, that's better than missing the boat. You know what I'm saying? Better than traffic, breakdowns of taxis or Ubers. Get there early, baby. Get you a deal. The way to get deals on cruises is, get an early booking from a year or two in advance, or go at the last minute. Hey, here, this weekend you got a cruise leaving for 3 nights. Yeah, you got anything cheap? Got a cheap cabin? You can get a deal. Then boom, you just pack up and go. Stay around. You take a 3 or 4 day cruise, or a week cruise, whatever. At the last second, it won't be the perfect cabin. It'll probably be some indoor cabin. But hey, if you're happy with the price, you're having a good time, you're on a cruise, have a good time. I know Carnival's getting a lot of crap reviews lately, so, and that was the MS, whatever it's called. That one gets some bad reviews sometimes, but they're cheap. They'll get you there, as long as you might have some drama. But other than that, enjoy the cruise. Just video it and put it on YouTube for everybody to see. Hey, might be some money making opportunity for you. And they all get you to the same port. You're all parked out at Nassau or whatever and walking around and checking things out. So enjoy. When you're down in Florida, you can go have a Disney day or an Epcot day just to walk around and check things out. You're already in the vacation area. You don't have to book super expensive flights. You're saving on that. And you can save big bucks at Aldi, going to these weird little places. They just had a Sprouts open up here in right near on top of the world. That's expensive. I was like, wow. I walked around that place with my wife going, all these weird brands. It's like Whole Food, being in Whole Foods, just like whole paycheck. They're expensive. I didn't know any of the brands. I was like, ew. But everyone else packed. Everyone enjoyed it. My wife bought a bunch of stuff, so she's happy. So don't leave it to guys to shop. We're at the Aldi going, that's not a name brand either, but hey, it's half the price. Let me get it. That's a guy's version of shopping. Right, dads? That's how we shop. It's like streaming video services. Let's see, let me get one. And all the kids are like, Netflix. Yeah, that's all we get. That's all we can afford. We can afford maybe 2. You know, wait, we got Amazon Prime shipping, so we get Amazon Prime Video free. So hey, we got 2, we're good. We got 3. Most people have 3 or 4. All right, little fact. So, and everyone has YouTube. Everyone watches YouTube over and over and constantly. So enjoy this YouTube video, like and subscribe and share if you learned anything about Ocala, Florida, and come check us out. Put us on the list of places to check out for jobs and for moving. And I always wanted to live in Florida, but you got to be able to get a job. You got to be able to make it. But if you're young, but if you're getting in the field and you're happy, come out here, check it out. On your way to Disney. Back when I was young, Ocala was just this little town with all the horses. It's the horse capital of the world. We would come down with our car through the little shortcut, and you'd get bugs all over your car because they had bugs everywhere back then. And I was like, yeah, whatever. So to actually be here, that's just cool. So let's look at the water again and look at our future retirement home. And you guys have a great day. Like and subscribe and share. Bye.